All right, it's 1 o'clock, and I'm going to call the New York State Cemetery Board meeting to order. I would like to do a couple things for my opening remarks. It's our December meeting. Another year has gone by, but it's an end of a couple years of sort of unique challenges for the board, the division, and the cemeteries that we work with. So you'll see this room here is full of people. We've actually hired all but I think 2 staff, and they're here in person. So it's really kind of a nice thing. The division had a meeting and a luncheon before the board meeting. But let me just, who of our staff here has been here only the last 2 months? Raise your hand. Who's just started way in the back? How about folks? So there's 3. How about folks who've been here 6 months? Raise your hand. Right. So that's most of the people here. We've hired. I think Alicia said that when we started last year, we had 2.5 or 2 3/4 accounts, and now we have 7. I don't know if that's good news for the cemeteries or bad news for the cemeteries, but we're really delighted that we've been able to hire staff who we think bring a lot to the table and will really help us with our mission of supporting cemeteries, helping them, making sure that they're doing the things they need to be doing, ultimately protecting lot owners and preventing abandonment. So I'd like to just note that. That's a great thing. And also, I think that's something I want to say about the cemeteries that we work with. We know that the last couple of years, COVID has been tough. It's made it hard work for our cemeteries. We're very appreciative of the efforts that they all made during the pandemic and in the times later. We know that we have had issues trying to fill positions, that they are struggling to fill positions and keep up staffing. And we also know that we are somehow in a world that despite all of that, we have rising expectations to do more, to be more 21st century, and that's not always easy to do. So I think that over the last 2 years, we all have, meaning the board and the division and the cemeteries, have maintained the status quo, which is not a low bar, it's a high bar, given all the challenges we've had. We have challenges ahead, but mostly I want to say in this year end, thank you to all of you, to the board members that have been working with us from the Department of Health and the Attorney General's office, and to the cemeterians, the volunteers that have worked so hard to keep their particular cemeteries up and running. So that's the privilege of the chair. Again, I'm Mark Pattison. I represent Robert Rodriguez, who's the Secretary of State.
Tom Fuller, representing Commissioner of Health, Dr. Mary Bassett.
Jill Faber, representing Attorney General Letitia James.
Great, so we're all here in person. I also, before I finish, I also did want to make sure I thank our partners, NYSAC and others who represent cemeteries with us in all of our various efforts. So the next thing on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting. Do we have any changes or suggestions for changes, corrections to the minutes that we
We do
distributed?
have one. The bottom of page 4, unless there's been an update, the motion and the vote on the application for Green Springs Cemetery is not noted in the minutes. It came in 1 hour, 19 minutes, 42 seconds on.
Okay.
Just have us there.
Yeah, the sentence, motion made, seconded, unanimously adopted, approving the application. I believe, I'll listen to make sure, check whether it was subject to any, I know the cemeteries reported that that there are no permits required, but I don't remember is whether out of being extra cautious, the board still conditioned it on receipt of permits.
We did, even if it was a little bit after later in the world. So we'll check the minutes to see if Tom's.
But they know it's missing, that has to be it. So that's an amendment that we will reflect that the motion was unanimously approved.
I'll move to amend the minutes to reflect the motion of approval of the Green Springs Cemetery for major renovation. Do I have a second of that?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to amend the minutes has passed. Now I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended. I'll have a second for that. Second. All in favor? Aye. So the minutes are accepted as amended. We have, I don't know if we have a legislative report or a report on regulations pending litigation.
Morning, Mark. This is Rob Vanderlist from Council's Office. No legislative update this month in terms of regulatory update. My division and I have been working on a 2023 regulatory agenda.
Okay, which we will discuss in a meeting after the regular board meeting. Right?
I will ask the board to move into a non-public session for the purposes of receiving advice from council regarding regulatory defense.
Great. Anybody have any questions of Rob about legislation or regulations? Okay. Move on to the division report. Louis, do you have a report from the division?
Sure. So I don't want to repeat all of the. I'll try not to repeat all of the thank yous that we just did, but usually the end of the year, I want to give a little recap of our achievements for the year. First one, obviously, is hiring. So going around the room, I get in no particular order than going around the room. Steve Troutman, Senior Accountant Binghamton, Sarah Levin, Senior Accountant Buffalo, Charles Crane, Senior Accountant Buffalo, in the back, Kathy Chittenden, Senior Accountant Albany, and Matt Loviando, Senior Accountant Albany, who's hiding in the corner. All these folks started with us this year, and we welcome them. I believe Michael Katina also started this year, but he's actually, unlike the rest of them, he has actually been to a board meeting in person before.
Yes.
So it might be, so we've already welcomed you in person. So welcoming all of you guys for starting. And we have only one staffing vacant, well, we have two staffing vacancies left. Second associate accountant position and secretary position. Stay tuned. The secretary position is going to have to wait until the applicable civil service test is given, I believe, before there'll be a new list. So there's that. Moving right on, the next thing I wanted to update is we now have, thanks to Brendan, I guess Ari left, Brendan Stanton and Ari Epstein, we have an application that is a web application. We can access it from anywhere to keep track of all of our basic interactions with cemeteries, visits, calls, when inspections, complaints, all of that stuff will or will be able to be incorporated into this application. Brendan developed it in-house, and it's going to be, we're going to be using it for all of the functions it can cover starting January 1st. We're just kind of playing with it now to test it out. And it's going to be a huge thing for us to be able to know what's going on in the cemetery world. So thank you for that. Third thing is I wanted to mention there have been, next month I'll be reporting this more formally, but I wanted to mention that we had, just double checking my math, there were 15 cemeteries at risk of abandonment where we attended either in person or virtually special lot owners meetings or meetings with the board and local officials, the result of which is that those cemeteries were not abandoned, were not voluntarily conveyed to the towns, and are going to be able to continue operating as not-for-profit cemetery corporations. They seem to run the gamut as to location, with the exception of none being downstate. They cover the rest of the state, various different sizes. Probably the largest one was New Forest in Utica. I don't know what the smallest one would be, but I know one of our aims in promulgating regulations on cemetery abandonment was to formalize the process that we use to prevent cemetery abandonment and to be able to show cemeteries, hey, we've got to try this first. And so far, I think 15 saves is better than we had in 2021. So we actually had a fair number that year too. So that's a good thing. So I wanted to report on that. I'll go through next month. I'll be sharing with the board because we might still have another one coming up in the next few weeks. Next month, I'll be sharing with the board the list of for this year, and then we'll close out the calendar year and move on. I believe that is all I had.
Delegate duties.
That's Alicia, do we have a list of columbariums we approved this year? I think I forgot to bring that.
I think it was 5.
Well, we have everybody here. There's 5 of them. I know, Mike, you had one at Woodlawn. You had 2. One was at Woodlawn, Syracuse. Where was the other one?
Columbariums that we
Riverside, Waltersville.
Riverside and Waterville. That's Oneida County.
Memory Gardens.
Onondaga County.
Onondaga? Okay, Memory Gardens here in Albany. Brendan, did we finish with Riverhurst?
Yeah, Broome County.
And there's one more.
Pine Lawn had
Pine Lawn was 2. So that's
6.
6. These are all columbarium projects where, all but one of them are columbarium projects with freestanding prefab columbariums being installed. One of the Woodlawn projects was retrofitting an existing mausoleum building to add niche space.
Oak Hill and Greene County as well.
Was that this month?
Oh, it was last month. It was Oak Hill.
Okay, so we didn't report on that one last month. So make that 7. No, again, in none of these cases were there any adverse comments from lot owners, and I think the cemeteries were all pleased that they did not wait for the timing of the next board meeting to get these done. I mean, some of them went quicker than others because there were certain of them where we were missing information. I'm hoping by next month, especially now that we'll be using the app to track them, to be able to give you a more proper aging process of the date like how long we had them and how long we had them after they became complete. With these, I think you'd find a lot of them we were waiting on completion. I know Riverhurst, there were certain things that had to get done. The one you had in Waterville also had there were things we were waiting on. And in Syracuse, Woodlawn, Syracuse came to us before the comment period had expired. So, of necessity, those got delayed a bit.
All right, so any other things to report, Louis?
I think those were the only, I guess we haven't been reporting on the other delegated duties, but we also approved the reclamation of non-sectarian burial society graves at New Montefiore Cemetery in Suffolk County. That's not part of the most recent delegation, but that's another delegated function that we did this past year.
We'll work to formalize that process.
Right, I mean, more to be said about this in non-public session about the whole issue of delegation.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions of Louis on his report? Okay. We move to the vandalism report and fund. So we have 4 applications for vandalism funds, but Alicia, do you want to give us an update on that?
on the fund, yeah, so circulated the report. Thing to note would be if we paid out all of our obligations plus applications in the pipeline, the ones that are before the board, we would have overspent the $2 million allocation by over $400,000. However, that's not going to happen. Things are not going to be worked on over the winter, so we'll roll into the new allocation before we enter that dangerous spot. We also have 1,463 annual reports. 40% of those are online. I'm hoping this year we'll get over 50%.
Terrific. And you know, I think important to note and celebrate that we're able to provide funding in our appropriation amount for either vandalism, for repair of monuments. So that's great. We were at one point worried we wouldn't be able to do that. So thanks to the cemeteries for applying, and good that we were able to support them. We have applications from 4 dangerous monument applications. First one is from Fairview Cemetery in Albany in the amount of $67,501.37. There's someone to present that to the board.
I'll present that. This is Len Green, investigator, Division of Cemeteries. So the Fairview is a small cemetery outside the village of Altamont, Albany County, for funds to repair 51 hazardous monuments. I visited the cemetery and I was able to verify that all the 51 monuments are indeed leaning dangerously. The cemetery has received 2 estimates for the repair. They ran a legal ad in the Enterprise for 3 consecutive weeks, and they actually did have 1 response to that, which is unusual. Usually most of the monuments, these cemeteries are so old that there's no one left to respond to the legal ad. But in this case, a family did respond, and they came forth and they are going to pay for the repair of the monument. So the repair totals $1,550 for that particular monument. Also, the cemetery was able to find records for 4 of the monuments under application, and the president, Russ Tallman, reached out to these lot owners. He reached out to them by phone. He was unaware that under the application it requires for him to reach out by mail, but he called instead, and out of those 4, 3 of them, the families indicated they did not have the funds to repair the monuments themselves, and then the 4th call, he received no response to the message he left. So this does appear to be a legitimate claim, and I recommend approval for this application in the amount of $67,501.37.
Anybody have any questions about the application? Rob?
Thank you, Mark. So the statute does require that notice to owners be provided by registered or certified mail, and when those owners cannot be found, notice by publication may be used. It sounds as if the cemetery does have records about where a few of the owners may be found, and they did make calls, but the statute is clear in what the notice requirements are. I would recommend that if the board does approve the application, that make that approval contingent, 1, upon the availability of funds, and 2, that the cemetery follow up with those lot owners by registered or certified mail, and to undertake no work until 60 days after the mailing has passed, and they have not received a response.
Okay. Anybody any concerns about that stipulation? Lewis, no? Okay. All right, so I will make a motion to approve the application of Fairview Cemetery for repair of dangerous monuments with the understanding or stipulation that they reach out to the lot owners they have records for by certified or registered mail, and that this approval is, and that they don't commence work until 60 days after they have sent the letters, and that this approval is also contingent on the availability of funds. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Rob, I got it captured right? All right. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Second application is Black Creek Cemetery in Allegheny County, the amount of $78,353.79. Somebody can present that.
Yeah, my name is Michael Patina. I'm investigator for the Western New York area. They put in, Black Creek is a town in Allegheny County. They put in for 95 monuments to be repaired. They did list the newspaper ads 3 times, in the Patriot and the Free Press, and they got no response. Most of these monuments are old and have no contact information. They received 2 estimates, one for $78,206.09, an average of $931 a monument from Fuller's. And they also got an estimate from Western New York Cemetery Services, estimated at $92,234.21, an average of $1,098 a monument. Both contractors proposed 42-inch foundations and offered 10-year warranty on their work. The cemetery is up to date on their annual reports and their vandalism payments. I recommend approval in the amount of $78,353.79.
Okay. Rob?
My only comment would be if the board does approve it, the approval should be subject to the availability of funds.
All of these should be subject to the availability of funds.
Yep. I will make a motion to approve the application of Black Creek Cemetery in Allegheny County for dangerous monument repair in the amount of $78,350.79 contingent on the availability of funds. Do I have a second? Second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Application is approved. Next, applications from North Otto Cemetery in Cattaraugus County in the amount of $23,000, $292.00. And somebody present that.
Which of you guys did this one?
That's me. I'm Mike Seelman from the Division of Cemeteries. North Otto Cemetery is a small cemetery in the town of Otto, Cattaraugus County. They put an application in for 21 hazardous monuments. They put a legal notice in for the Wanda Times, the Wanda Penny Saver. They did not get a response. I went out and looked at the monuments. All 21 appeared to be hazardous. They got 2 estimates for repair. 42-inch foundations, 20-year warranty. All the paperwork seemed to be in order, and I recommended approval in the amount of $23,292. The most recent monument was 1917.
Do we have any questions, Rob?
No comments from council.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the application of North Otto Cemetery in Cattaraugus County for repair of dangerous monuments in the amount of $23,292, subject to availability of funds. Do I have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Last one is Carr Cemetery in Oneida County in the amount of $35,896.87.
Again, Mike Seelman. Carr Cemetery is a small cemetery in the town of Marcy, Oneida County. They put in an application for repair of 30 monuments. They put a legal notice in both the Rome Sentinel and the Observer Dispatch. Once a week for 3 weeks on both. They didn't get any response. They got the 2 like estimates for repairs. I went out, I looked at the monuments. All 30 monuments appeared to be somewhat hazardous. The newest monument, I think, was 1972. And I recommended approval in the amount of $35,896.87.
Any questions, any comments? All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the application of Carr Cemetery in Oneida County for repair of dangerous monuments in the amount of $35,896.87. Do I have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That completes the applications for vandalism claims. We have 2 other projects before us. The first is Main Cemetery for a land purchase and amended price.
Who's doing this one?
Okay.
don't think we talked about it.
I'm doing it.
Well, they're here if you want to talk.
Let me pull it up. Hang on, I can do it. Why is it not in the folder? Okay, let's see in the folder. Hold on, I'm gonna find it somewhere else. Right. So, I just want to get the numbers right. I remember they. Yeah. So, essentially, Main Cemetery. We approved this back in. You guys approved their land sale back in June for a price of $22,000. The problem is apparently the cemetery had not actually reached agreement with the land purchase. They were going to pay 22 grand. They apparently hadn't reached agreement with the seller on price, and after further discussion, because of certain expenses in the transaction that the seller didn't want to have to bear, the new purchase price, the price they ultimately agreed to after we approved it, is $25,000. That is still below the appraised value of the property. So it's still clearly for fair market value, or better than fair market value, and it's still in the cemetery's interests to go ahead and do the deal. They just, I guess, jumped the gun a little bit on the pricing. I'll also note that this is now, it wasn't when it started out, but it is now a related party transaction. The seller is on their board. It is our understanding, based on what they've given us, that they complied with the related party provisions of the not-for-profit corporation law in considering alternatives, and the related party not participating in the discussion or vote, and in explaining why they went with this transaction. It's kind of it's the same explanation as the last time. It is the only contiguous piece of property they can acquire, and it is below the appraised value, and therefore a good deal for them. But because the board had approved the purchase at a certain price, we're back here to get approval of the revised price.
You might have said this and I didn't hear it, but that was disclosed to the board, right?
Which?
The seller, I mean,
She's on the board.
yeah, so the board is aware when they approve that.
Yes. Ironically, had she not had to recuse herself from them at the first time, we probably wouldn't have had to come back because they would have caught this.
All right. Anybody have any other comments on this application? Rob, do you have anything to add?
No comments from council.
Thank you. I don't see the need for the cemetery to address the board, but they're welcome to if you'd like. Okay, sounds like you're good. I'll make a motion to approve the application of a Main Cemetery for an amended price on their land purchase. Do I have a second?
Also,
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Application's approved. Last piece of business before the board is Elmweir Cemetery, an amended certificate of incorporation.
I can start this, but I'll have to defer to Rob on the rest of it. Elmweir, which is also known as Mount Zion Cemetery in Queens, approached. They want to change their annual meeting date to the spring from winter. Because it's in their articles of in their certificate of incorporation, they actually have to amend the certificate to do this. In the course of reviewing their amended certificate to do this, council caught a couple of other technical changes that needed to be made, either to just general compliance or to bring the thing up to speed in terms of the current statute for and what it requires for certificates of incorporation. They've done that. We've also shared it with Council for Corporations, and while they can't prejudge something that hasn't actually been filed with them, they didn't catch anything else. Well, they caught some stuff, and we asked them to put that in already. They've done that, so it should be clear sailing theoretically once you guys consent to its filing, for them to go back to our Division of Corporations and file with that.
This doesn't have to get approved by the Attorney General's office?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, our motion is, we don't approve, we approve or?
You can say Rob, I think they approve consenting to its filing.
Yeah, it's consent. So we're working under both 1505 and 404E. And so consent, the consent is to be attached to the amended certificate of incorporation for
Which means-
the Department of State.
Which means like with vandalism applications, not only do you have to approve a motion, but you're gonna have to sign a document that we will then give to the cemetery that they can take over to the Division of Corporations and file.
So I'll make a motion that the board consent to the filing of an amended certificate of incorporation for Elmweir Cemetery. Is that right? Do you have a second? Any other discussion on this matter? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank you all for working with us to get this thing done. The next cemetery board meeting is scheduled for January 10th. I think it's probably the regular time, 10:30.
Unless anybody has a conflict, we'll go at 10:30 again.
Okay. And we will be not going to executive session, but moving after the meeting is adjourned to a non-public meeting to get advice of counsel on question of regulatory, potential regulatory changes. Our regulatory agenda is required, the agency file, the Department of State file. But before that, I'd like to just open up to public comment. Is there anybody online that would like to speak to the board on any matter before the board or otherwise of the board's interest? Okay, is anybody else here who wishes to speak to the board?
Sure. David Fleming for the New York City Association of Cemeteries. Just want to thank the board for all the work this year and the partnership with NYSAC in helping these cemeteries prevent abandonment across the state. It's extremely helpful. NYSAC's position, as you know, is cemeteries are best run by cemeteries. And so thank you to the board and the division and staff for working with us. I want to welcome all the new people. Look forward to a very positive and productive 2023. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Does anybody else like to speak to the board, rest of the board?
This is Richard Fryman from Richard
Yeah.
Fryman Associates. I'm the attorney for Elmweir, and I just wanted to thank you for getting this on the agenda and approving it so quickly. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Any other comments to the board? That being said, I make a motion to adjourn the December meeting of the New York State Cemetery Board. Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.